It's time for the weekly Vol Vet review. Now, in the name of baby 7, who is happily eating in the barn, I just forgot to do this before I came up to the house. We are continuing our education. So if you haven't caught up, we did a 4-part series on navicular degeneration, all with the help of vets from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, normally hosted by Dr. Ursini, and sometimes she has some colleagues chime in as well. So this week, we are wrapping up navicular degeneration with a Q&A. They paid attention to your comments on our posts, and they're going to wrap up a few loose ends. And then we have a new topic. So stay tuned for the end to deep dive into that.
Hey everybody, here for the Q&A for the Vol Vet review. I'm Dr. Tina Ursini. So we're wrapping up the navicular disease segment that we're doing. So a few questions that came through, specifically in the diagnosis and kind of what to expect if my horse has been diagnosed, or kind of some of those details that maybe we didn't highlight going through. So specifically what I did want to mention is it's really common, even though we talk about this being a degenerative kind of developing disease, it's really common for your horse to be fine and then suddenly not fine. Horses are naturally prey animals, and so they are prone to hide symptoms and subclinical symptoms for a long time until suddenly they can't. So that's a common thing that comes up in clinical cases of, well, he really wasn't lame last week and he's lame this week, and you're saying that there's a lot of degenerative change. Horses just naturally do that. We don't know why, we don't know how, but that is very common for navicular disease. Another common complaint is it may mask or it may mirror other clinical symptoms. So like osteoarthritis, where horses might work out of or warm out of a lameness. Navicular horses might do that too in the initial stages of the disease, which makes it difficult to kind of get early progression and early diagnosis of those horses. We did highlight specifically one thing that was really important, and that is having a good farrier on your team as far as the treatment and the diagnosis and management going forward. So specifically, you've got Jeremy Davis back here again. Specifically, Jeremy, what should people be looking for to say I have a good farrier, or my farrier is good for this horse?
So a few things you're going to want to look for in a good farrier. Keep in mind, I'm speaking from an American standpoint. In the United States, there's no licensing required to be a farrier. So technically, anybody that wants to nail on shoes can do so. So you want to look for somebody that seeks out continuing education, because keep in mind, we don't have a requirement for continuing education hours like veterinarians do. You also want to seek out somebody that searches out voluntary certifications. One of the largest in the United States is the American Farriers Association, and they have different levels of certifications and then different endorsements beyond that. So myself, I'm a certified journeyman farrier through the American Farriers Association. I'm also a tester for candidates going through the testing process. So things like that are what you want to look for to get a good educated farrier that also enables them to have a network of people to call upon if they need a question or run up on something, because we all don't know everything. Things vary geographically, and if I run up on something that I just don't know, I can pick up the phone. I can call another veterinarian. I can call another farrier anywhere in the world and get an answer to my question.
Yeah, and specifically from the veterinary side of that, I think, both sides play a role, right? Veterinarians have to be willing to be open-minded with what a farrier can apply to a certain specific foot. We talked about all the different options. Some feet just can't carry certain shoes, and I'm not a farrier and I can't know that. So if I prescribe just one package for every single navicular horse, not every horse is going to succeed. So that's where I need the feedback from a farrier to say, hey, that shoe's not going to work in this scenario because of X, Y, Z. And the farrier also has to be open-minded too, of trying, hey, this horse, we have a lot of complications, a lot of things to deal with. Can we try and piecemeal a project together? One last thing, just to make sure that it's very clear, there is no cure for navicular disease. We're just trying to mitigate symptoms, moderate them going forward, keep the horse as comfortable as long as possible, and eventually that horse is likely to be retired or at least, stepping down an athletic class. Thanks again for your kind of continued support throughout these projects. Next up on your list, we are going to change gears specifically. We're moving to goats, and we're talking about blocked goats or urinary blockage. You're going to hear from my colleague, Dr. Klosterman, who's going to be fabulous, and I hope you guys have lots of questions going forward on goats and urinary issues. Keep those questions coming. We're happy to have them, and thanks for listening.
Hope y'all enjoyed that. Now, I am so thankful that we can deep dive into topics, not just about equine medicine, but furthering the knowledge into other livestock species. So, super excited for the next episode regarding goats. Let me know if you have any other questions or topics that you want us to cover.